Actually, maybe not.
Shit's getting worse by the bite.
Shit, let me pack this shit up. Hold on, guys.
What happens if you go to
Welcome to the AM Club Podcast. My name is Manolo, and my brother's name is Austin, like the city.
We're coming to you today to talk about some real shit, man.
Like we do every day.
But this time, it's tough. Psych! It's not personal, it's business. You gotta keep that in mind. So, I don't know if you ever seen, I hate to give these references, but say in drug dealer shows, or shows with gangs, mafias, or mob bosses, stuff like that. They all have this line or have seen something like this where something happens and they don't necessarily want to do it, but because of the principle of the thing, they have to carry out whatever action. And they normally justify this by saying, hey, look, I'm not doing this to you as a person because I don't like you as a person. I'm doing this because this is how my business operates. This is how I conduct business, and I cannot take shit easy on you or let you pass because this is how I conduct business. Same thing goes in anything in life, but especially real world legal business.
Not very true.
Certain things happen where you might get told no. You might get told yes. Either or. It may not be, most of the time it may not be because, oh, you're such a great person. Now, it does factor. It does play a factor, yes. But most of the times people are making the decisions to tell you yes or no based off of business. How is your business ran? How does your business fit with my business? Will you make me money? Will you lose me money? Is this a good fit? It's business, never person.
Signing out.
That's it.
Listen. Sorry, I'm starving. That's the difference between when Austin starts a podcast versus when I start one. When I start one, we're like, what was the topic again? and then we work to it, and then Atlas starts acting up, and we gotta put him in a lot of things happen when I start. When Austin starts, it's like you could end it at the 3-minute mark. It would have been complete. The message is gone, or it's the message has been transmitted, and this guy's about to
Signed,
fight.
sealed, and delivered.
Shout out to Stevie Wonder. Yes, bring the dog to where I have food.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So anyways, everything from hiring to running a business to partnerships to acquiring businesses to working together or even conversing, most of the time is not personal. It all relies on a value exchange. Business and life are not, there's not a huge overlap between the two. That's normally because business is operated in a more rational sense and life is relatively irrational. Sometimes you don't know the people that you're going to end up with, and you don't know the people who you jive with. You normally wouldn't jive with them, but for some reason you do, and so you're hanging out with them. Or you get married to them.
You jive turkey. Oh, sorry, I just had to say that. You see me saying jive. I couldn't pass it up. Sorry.
So, now, the reason I say that is because that was crazy. We've had people turn down business with us, and we've also done the same to others. But at the end of the day, you can get upset all you want. But you need to separate your emotions from the process and understand that it's not from us to you or from you to us in a way that's emotionally charged. If it is, that's unprofessional. And if you want to play the game, we'll play the game. But just so you know, we don't lose, we win. It's just how we operate.
I will say that we exemplify this damn near to a T. Damn near. I'm not gonna say all the time, but damn near. Because
There's exceptions. We're human.
Yes.
We're human.
There has been certain situations where how we think long term, is this decision good for me? Is this going to help me out in the long term? Is this going to cause me more stress? Is this going to help me make money? Are they going to blah blah blah? Like, there's things that we've thought about more than just business, just in life in general, where with everything we're weighing the pros and the cons. We're going through it and saying, is this a good long-term decision for me? Is this a short-term decision? Does this really benefit me? And we're saying this with every single thing. You know, where people, most people don't do that. And that's just how they are. But we think on a business level, when it comes to life and business, like, hey, is it business or is it personal? Do I want to put myself through all this bullshit and make me suffer because I don't like myself? Fuck no. I love myself. However, it's business.
God.
And I know I have to put myself through some shit to get to where I want. It's business, not personal. You know, in order to get yourself bigger in the gym or help you lose weight.
No.
God damn it, Atlas, I was making a good point. Okay. Anyway,
It wasn't me.
we'll cut that out. Or maybe we'll leave it in. Who cares?
Sorry, I have to switch chips because these are really.
I told you.
Bro, you were not.
It's
like wax.
Yeah. You thought I was bullshitting? Okay, anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, so when you have to go to the gym, right? And you're putting yourself through
Oh shit.
hours or maybe an hour, I don't know how long you work out, but you're putting yourself through pain and suffering through a workout, doing some shit you don't like to do to achieve the bigger goal, which is, I guess, your body goals and where you want to get to. Shit's not personal. You're not putting yourself through that shit because you hate yourself. You're putting yourself through the shit because you love yourself and you realize that in order to get to where I want to go, I'm going to have to do certain things. It's business, not personal, you know? And again, there might be certain situations in our future, right? Where a check is staring us in the fucking face. It might be a lucrative check, right? However, if it doesn't align to what we see for our empire that we're trying to build, we won't do it. Why? We might like the person who is offering this shit to us. We might like them. They might be cool people. But if it doesn't align with how we conduct business, we're gonna say no. Why? Because it's business, not personal. Atlas, if you eat that chip, I'm gonna put my foot up your ass. But anyway.
My bad, bro.
No, it's fine. But yes, anything that you do, view it from a business perspective. And I honestly believe,
Life as well, to a degree.
of course, I'm not saying be a heartless fuck. However, there is times where removing your feelings and emotions from certain things could be beneficial because emotions are fleeting, feelings are fleeting. However, good decisions can affect your life forever. So, it's business, logic, thoughts, well thought out plans, actions. It's business, not personal. Emotions, feelings, all wham wham. It makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel okay. I feel coddled, blah, blah, blah. Not personal. Not that shit. Take that shit out. And think analytically thinking in business wise, in a business sense, and make the decisions you need to make. I talk a lot. I'm good. I talk a lot.
That's good. I like it.
But now, you know.
Austin's just. I like it. I'm entertained. I'm
You
just
want me
sitting
to
here
keep
eating chips.
going?
Well, you're welcome to, but let me say some things.
Okay, good, yeah.
And I already forgot what I was going to say.
That's how it goes.
Well,
Hey, you little turd. Don't knock over our shit. Yeah, go over there.
So, this guy is something else.
Something else.
So, when it comes to making those decisions, a lot of times people will say, hey, you're a control freak. You're taking too much control. You're analyzing too many variables. Or my personal favorite, you're an overthinker. Now, and Bedros talked about this, but I forgot exactly how he made the connection. But he says that being an overthinker is essentially an expression of Jocko Willink's term, discipline equals freedom. Your ability to rigorously test ideas and actions and thought processes and partnerships and hires helps you navigate the ocean of business better, so that when the waters become very aggressive, you've already charted your course and you already know how to avoid the heaviest waters and get to the best streams. And now, when the waters are hard to navigate, they're hard to navigate. You cannot change that. But the point is, you've put yourself on the best trajectory possible at the best speed in the best vessel that you could find or produce. So I think that there is actually very little fine line when it comes to being indecisive and what's the word that I used earlier, Austin? What did I say? Fuck.
Overthinking?
Before overthinking. The positive way of overthinking.
Being concerned. Shut up.
I don't know what I said. There you go, guys. Bandwidth.
Y'all know what we said. Okay. All right. Put it back. Put it back.
Y'all just missed a like 90-pound dog just flip a carpet, and now he's trying to play with the carpet.
Okay.
Hey, listen. What I'm saying is, thinking about all the contingencies in advance and rigorously testing ideas is not to be confused with overthinking. It's actually the application of overthinking in a positive direction that helps you mitigate problems and also prevent problems in advance. Like in last podcast, the episode of the podcast called Product Market Fit. By thinking about all those variables and realizing that, hey, if I take this time to look at all of these factors, it's going to pay off in the long term. It's the same thing with rigorously testing opinions, or not opinions, rigorously testing options and separating your emotions from logic and saying, hey, it's not personal. If I make this hiring decision, yes or no, it's not personal. It's based on the numbers, it's based on the business. Listen, you give me a good prospect as a partner, but the service that I would be providing you is off tangent. Yes, it's lucrative, and yes, it's scalable, but that doesn't help us in the other facets of our business. So, and honestly, making that decision, even though in the moment it might hurt the person, and even sometimes you have to be very aggressive in the moment, strategically so, they now, whether they tell you or not, they now respect you to a level that they didn't respect you before. Because now they realize you're good with or without me. And gentlemen, that's how it should be in relationships. That's how it should be in life. That's how everything operates. In sales, that's one of the biggest concepts. You don't want to look like, oh, if you don't sell this product, you're not well off. But the point is, you're well off either way. And that's just life. You were gonna say?
So something that you said that
Took me a while to get there.
It doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as you get there.
Hang on, is that Austin? Bro, that's Austin. No, the city.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Watch. When they show the video, you'll see the. That's Andrew Huber.
Yeah. Well, fuck if they ever. Anyway,
Sorry.
so yeah,
We're watching a podcast while we're podcasting.
you know, the I forgot what this is called. It's Inception. But anyway,
Podception.
you pointed Podception. You pointed out something really interesting. I know certain people. Once they got to a position of power, they appointed people that they liked in certain positions, as opposed to people that were actually good for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people are like, oh yeah, once you get in a position of power, you put your people on, put your friends on, all that stuff. I think we both agree with this. I love my friends and I love my family. However, when it comes to business, and when it comes to this thing called making money, when we're making a lot of it, I'll be damned if anybody messes up us making more. Or making more. So, the smart decision and business-minded decision that I will be making is not to appoint people that I like. It's going to appoint people who can do the fucking job better than I can, to where I don't even have to fucking think about it. Now, if that's people that I like, that's great.
Right.
If they're both, that's perfect.
Phenomenal.
That's awesome. I would love to do that. But more often than that, it's probably not going to be that. So, thinking business-wise, and not personally, appointing the right person for the job is better than appointing my person for the job. You know, thinking business-wise, not personally. This thing just applies to so many different things, because when you think about it, life is actually just one big business decision. One big decision, and not even one big decision, but you're making multiple millions of decisions a day. I don't want to say millions, but thousands of decisions a day.
No, millions.
Whether you know it or not. Well, yeah, millions, because it's like, do I make this hand gesture? Do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do it like
now
this?
it's like, do I check my message?
Right.
Do I respond? Do I open this app? So you just multiply.
Exactly.
Millions
So
easily.
Even if you realize it or not. So when you think of things throughout your day, the slightest thing could affect how you can feel for the rest of the day, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the year, for the rest of your life, right? And most people fail this test. They fail the test of life because they're thinking about it from a personal standpoint as opposed to from a business-minded standpoint. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have fun and you shouldn't love and enjoy life. You should do that. However, think and be smart before you do these things. You know, people always tell people growing up, it's like, you know, make the right choices, blah, 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 blah. People really fucking listen because they don't understand the weight of their decisions until shit happens.
There's no true consequences.
Exactly, until you get a true consequence, and then it could fuck you up forever. However, if you approach life this way, it's like, hey, look, I know I don't like working out, right? I know I don't like eating healthy all the time. I know that I don't like drinking anything other than soda all the time. However, I want to live longer and live healthily while I live longer. I should probably do these things or not do these things so that I can get there. That's a business-minded decision. That's a strategic, a smart, that's an intuitive decision as opposed to saying, hey, look, I'm gonna do what I feel. If you relied on what the fuck you felt all the time, you'd probably be fucking broke, distraught, depressed. And I'm not saying depressed because, you know, I'm just talking shit about that. We've both been through it, so we know exactly how that feels. Depressed, all that, just a whole bunch of negative emotions. Because if you were left to your own devices without, you know, proper feedback and proper adjustment, you'd probably run yourself into the ground, and not in a good way. Not by working hard. So everything that you do should be ran through that business side of mind of yours, saying, hey, is this a pro or is this a con? Is this an asset or is this a liability? You know? And if you think like that, you'll save yourself time, you'll save yourself money, you'll save yourself headaches. All these things that we may take for granted until you get a taste of it, and you're like, man, I do like having extra time. I do like, you know, not having to worry about this. I do like having more money. I do like blah, 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 blah. It's all because you ran it through that business side of you as opposed to thinking personally and how you felt all the time. So, you know, it's business, not personal, applies to everything and can apply to everything. And I feel like if you approach things that way, you'd be a much more successful, much more grounded, and a much more thoughtful person in life.
Dang. 20 minutes of me eating, and 20 minutes of Austin giving y'all knowledge and insight. That's good.
And something I think that you could talk about as well, because you do this often. Because again, somebody who may not be paying that much attention, I'm not saying you guys aren't paying attention, but somebody who might just see a clip real quick might say, oh, so you can just be an asshole to somebody if you make the business. No, we're not saying that.
You can.
Well,
You shouldn't.
Well, you can. But
You
I'm
shouldn't.
saying there's been plenty of this. He thinks like this, but he still goes out of his way to be kind to people. And I don't think you view it as a personal decision most of the time, like, oh, I just have to do this to make me feel good about myself. No, you do it. Why do you do that?
Well, you don't know who you're talking to, and you don't know what that person can do for you
And has been through.
So something as simple as smiling, saying thank you, opening a door, or striking a simple conversation, a compliment, or even something very simple like, hey, you know, I noticed that, I don't know, your shoes are relatively nice, da-da-da-da-da. Then you strike a conversation, next thing you know, you have a connection, next thing you know, you have potential business. Or you know somebody who knows somebody. Or you just had a wonderful conversation. Or somebody said something that made you feel good. Or by making somebody else feel good, now you feel good. And if not, at least you get to say, I'm a good human being and I treat people with respect and I feel good about myself because I know that I have the ability to do that regardless of the circumstances, situations, or whatever might be happening in my life or around me.
Exactly, because when you have these interactions, Jose, do you always feel in the brightest of moods?
Listen, the best conversations I've had have been when I'm the most distraught. And I'm not even the one who starts them. I'll be walking down the street and there'll be a gentleman, and Austin knows the stories, and he'll simply say one thing, I'll smile, I'll exchange a quick conversation, and then they'll say one sentence that rings with me for a lifetime. One sentence. And that's an example of the impact that you can have on somebody else as well. And here's the other thing, and I take this personally because this is how I was raised, and I think it's very true that I hold my reputation of my bloodline and my ancestors is based on my last name. So I'm a representative of my family first, as well as God. Well, God first, family second, yes. But the point is, any room that I've been in, if they know my last name, there should be, and there will be, because I will make it so that there's a positive impact or a positive connotation associated with that name. Because you don't know, you would rather always have the positive than always have the negative. That's just how it goes. Same thing with business, same thing with life, same thing with impressions. If nobody can say anything negative about you except for hating or slander, is that not one of the highest esteems you can possibly have?
And I would say, you might disagree with this, knowing how you do things.
Oh.
However, I would say knowing how to conduct good business is something like, it makes people like you. And if people like
Wait,
you,
why would I disagree with that?
no. Here's
Okay. Oh shit.
Knowing how to
Think you could explain
knowing
that.
how to conduct good business makes people like you. However, knowing how to conduct business with no regard for anyone, it may make you powerful and feared. However, most of the time when people are in a position to fear someone, even if they're conducting business that seems like it's returning a lot for them, either people won't do as much for them as the person who is liked. Can you relax? As a person who is liked, or there'll be hatred towards that person and they'll want to overthrow or take over that person's position. However, if a person is liked and admired, people won't approach that from a position of, okay, look, they're at a place that I want to be at. I want to take that shit from them, or they don't deserve to be there. They're gonna be like, hey, look, he knows what he's doing and he's a great guy. Fuck it. He can do that. He seems like a great person. I hope he succeeds, all that shit. This guy.
Damn it, Atlas.
You're about to go in the cage, bucko. But yeah, I don't know how you feel about that specific thing. About like being liked or admired rather than being feared when it comes to business.
Gosh, it makes me want to get very political, but I don't want to do it.
No, do what you want. I just that's my train of thought. That's my train of thought. I feel like
Oh no! Listen.
it gets you further.
Let me prove to you that your assumption earlier was wrong.
Which one?
That I would disagree.
I said you made this.
Does a dictatorship work? Has it ever worked?
In the long run, no.
Exactly. Atlas,
No. You little
this
freak.
is just biting my kneecap. So, I entirely agree because historically it doesn't make sense. Yes, you can bend people with fear, but at the end of the day, all there is love. All there really is love. There's a currency, right? Fear breeds hate and resentment, which eventually will boil over because there is
Exactly.
always, what is it, Newton's second law? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I think that's the second law, right?
What's the first one? I thought it was the first
It
one.
might be the first one.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah, I thought it was the first one.
It could be Newton's first law. Newton's first law. So, I thought that was that matter can neither be created nor destroyed.
I could swear that was like the third, some shit.
That's probably the third. Okay. An object in motion remains in motion. We know the laws, okay? We just don't know the order. Blame us. Call me an idiot, please. Okay,
Yeah.
I concede that I'm an idiot.
I thought inertia was like the second one.
So, all right. Anyways, the point is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I think that is the first one. I think you're right. So we'll say that's Newton's first law. And it's the same thing. If you breed hate, if you breed anger and domination, then you're going to breed hate and resentment, and that will spill over. Because the only way you can take care of them is to allow them to be vented or to suppress them with even more oppression, which eventually leads to more hate and more frustration, more anger. So as opposed to love is actually conducive to love. Because love and respect doesn't breed essentially what is the opposite of love and respect? Hate, but it doesn't breed
Hate and disdain.
It doesn't breed hate and disdain. That's the difference. So love is like what is love? What would be an analogy? Like love is something that doesn't produce an opposite. Kind of like discipline. So there is no reciprocal to discipline. Like if you apply discipline, it's only a good thing. You will only get done what needs to get done by applying discipline. There's no negative to applying discipline. Similar to love, there is no negative to love. The only negative to love is a fallout, like if your significant other disappoints you and then you're absolutely dejected. But is that even possible? Because we don't have feelings. It's not personal.
Anyway.
So, as I was saying though, love doesn't produce a reciprocal. So when you come from a place of love, when you build a positive feedback loop within a business, within a culture, within your life, you don't breed room for hate and resentment. And when hate and resentment do come, when these negative emotions come, you handle them accordingly because you can single them out because of the culture, because of the atmosphere. Now, I'm not saying a jitty fucking company where y'all are like, yeah, let's listen to fucking music and do all these introductions and dance in groups and yeah. It's a meeting, but we actually don't talk business. We just kind of, mentally masturbate and then act like we're hot shit. It's a thing. Mental masturbation just means like you're just exasperating your brain.
I've never heard of that.
So essentially, I'm not saying like that. I'm saying like, hey, listen, you've done good work. We recognize these facets of your character that fall in line with our core values as a business. Here's a recognition, or here's a raise, here's a bonus. It doesn't have to be money. It can always be recognition. It can be something simple. It can be like, hey, we're having a lunch and you're the one who gets the dessert. It's having compassion, understanding that, hey, maybe we have maybe we have different cultures, different religions, so you get certain days off because you require them. Maybe you have an impromptu event that you want to attend. Maybe a family member or relative got sick, whatever it might be. Or maybe it's like, hey, it's Friday. Go spend the evening with your family. Because I'm showing you that I value your life outside of just work. I value you, not necessarily just your work.
And if you think that the companies that you work for are just doing that because they love you and because they care and it's all personal, I'm sorry, it's not the case. It's business. If you show or say, hey, I will allow you to spend time with your family, take the day off, you know that though you may lose that productivity for one day, you gain their trust and retention for a lifetime or years to come or however long. So you have to think about it. Again, and that's something that companies know is business, not personal. And that's where we as people who aren't thinking like that, well not we, but people get it wrong. They think shit is personal, not business. Once you learn that everything is, especially when it comes to companies and it comes to being an entrepreneur, everything is business, not necessarily personal. If it is personal, they're conducting business the wrong way, and that's going to lead to a negative outcome. You see things, I feel like you see things more clearly. But that's just...
You come from a more sober perspective, or a different perspective. It's almost an elevated perspective. You see a line of, when you're on top of the mountain, you see things that other people can't see.
Different perspective.
Different perspective. You see other variables, you see other trails, you see other facets, you see components that other people can't fathom because they don't know exists. Now, I actually want to take this moment to bring a little confusion into the conversation.
Let me get my translation bag ready.
Right. So, I know we say it's not personal, but I want you to understand that there is a point in time and also a method to take things personally, because it's similar to being in a friendship or a relationship or spending time with any human being. You can be completely aloof and disassociated, and that person will never have and never able to build an emotional connection. So the same thing applies with the dangers of taking things way too impersonally. So saying, oh, it's not personal, and completely removing the emotions. Because you can benefit from applying the emotion and the energy in a positive way, or even in a negative way, depending on the situation. So an example would be, okay, it's not personal. Like, whether we succeed or not, it's not personal. Well, you could say, yeah, the outcome is objective, but I'm gonna take it personally, because then now that means that I'm taking an additional degree, an emotional degree of responsibility, which increases the likelihood that we will succeed. Because that means now I'm not gonna be able to sleep because we need to do X, Y, Z, and it needs to get done now. And oh, while I'm sleeping, maybe I woke up and I had a dream that gave me some realization. realization about a certain thing that I had no idea. Or maybe Austin sends me a message and says, hey, what about this, this, this? And bam, then we hit the nail on the head. So the idea is you can channel that energy and that emotional energy so that Atlas, hey.
Hey. Relax.
Listen, I'll punk you if you want me to.
He thinks you're playing with him.
I know.
So, it's not
He
gonna
bit my knee.
go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, find a way to strategically be. We're just gonna leave it like that for a couple of minutes so people know. Hey, man. Homie tried to hump me, missed, and then bit my knee while he was falling down, like trying to get grip. That's crazy.
He's not mentally there. I'll say that. So let's say something else.
So listen, the point that I was making before Atlas disturbed our camera setup is don't lose touch with taking things personally. Take things personally strategically. So if Austin and I are friends, I should have a degree of emotionality, so that he understands that I actually care for him and he feels my care for him and my concern and my genuine connection. Empathy. Yes, thank you. Listen, don't be an ass about it. That's an asinine situation, you ass. God damn it. And that was a good tangent too. I was being all,
But basically, what he's saying, see, now I got. Basically, what he's
the leg
saying.
hurts, man. I just gotta.
See, but basically, what he's saying is, though it is business, it's not personal. However, you can take it however you want.
Right. It's strategic.
You can internalize that however you choose to. You can either see it as business, or you can see it as personal. However, you know full well that it is business. But if you view it as personal, you know if this is how you work. You say, okay, I know this is business, but I'm taking it personally, so I'm going to work harder because I'm taking however this situation transpired personally, even though I know that they didn't mean that or that they didn't, start with their actions to come off that way.
They didn't mean to waste our time, but they did. And they'll pay for it. That I took personally. So that's an example. Sure, it's just business. We brought y'all in for here. No. You wasted our time. That's what you did. So there's a benefit and there's also downside. But it's like life. Certain decisions you make, you reap what you sow. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
And it ain't what it ain't. It ain't for the podcast, man. Silence.